Today, we will talk about multiplication of polynomials, but more importantly, we're going to see some examples where we have trinomials now, but it doesn't matter if it's polynomial or trinomials. The main idea still remains the same, is that when you multiply in polynomials, it is important to be organized. And when we mention to be organized, we means that we're going to be multiplying constants with constants and variables with variables. Now, let's see some examples now. Here, they're asking us to multiply the following. Remember that we have two types of multiplication. We can use the tabular method or the box method, or we can use distribution. In this video, we're going to place the following multiplication as distribution. So we're going to perform distribution. So let's see here. Again, the whole idea of distribution is to be organized. You got two terms on the left, three terms on the right. So now what we're going to do now is the first term on the left side, you're going to distribute to every term on the right side. So let's see. Let's perform that multiplication first. So now we're going to multiply 6, c to the fourth. We're going to multiply by 9, c to the third. So this is what we mean by being organized. We're going to multiply the 6 times the 9, and that's going to give us 54. And now we're going to multiply the variable with the variable. C to the fourth times c to the third, that's c to the 7. Remember that there's a rule in mathematics which says if you're going to be multiplying two variables and they have the same base, all you got to do is just add the exponents. So we're done distributing that 6c to the 4. Now we need to distribute to the next one, which is going to be negative 7c to the second. So now let's see. Let's just use our calculator to be faster now. So what we want to do for here is we're going to multiply 6 times negative 7, which we're going to have this, which is going to give a negative 42. So now we're going to give us negative 42. And now we got to pay attention to the c's. C to the fourth times c to the second, that's c to the sixth. Let me rewrite this 42. So this was a minus 42 here. Excellent. So now we're done distributing to the second. We got to distribute to every single one of them. Negative times a positive, that's a negative. 6 times 3, that's 18. So it's negative 18. Now we're going to multiply c to the fourth times c, that's c to the fifth. Excellent. So now that we're done multiplying the first, we got to do the same. We got to distribute, but now we got to distribute the second term here, which is the negative c to the third. So now let's multiply this. Negative c to the third times the first one, which is negative c to the third. So let's see. Negative times a positive is a negative. 9, there's always an imaginary 1 here. So 9 times 1, that's just 9. C to the third times c to the third, that's c to the 6. Because remember, if they have the same base, we're just going to add the constants. Exponents. 3 plus 3, that's 6. So that's good. So now let's multiply to the second. Negative times a negative, that's a plus. There's always an imaginary 1 there. So 1 times 7, that's 7. C to the third times c to the second, you add the exponents, so that becomes c to the fifth. So let's try to distribute that at the end now. So here it is, last term. Negative times a negative, that's a positive. Imaginary 1, so 1 times 3, that's 3. C to the third times c, that's c to the fourth. Excellent, so this is what we have now. This is what we've got to work with. So now, this is your final answer. And the last thing that you should do is try to see if you can combine any like terms. I'll always verify from highest exponent to lowest exponent. So notice here that the highest exponent is 7. Is there any other term that has c to the 7? No. So there's nothing to combine it with. So we're going to bring it down as part of a final answer. So now we have 42c to the 6. Notice that here we have two terms that have c to the 6. So now we need to combine the coefficients. So negative 42 minus negative 9, that's equal to negative 51. C to the 6. Excellent. So now notice that here we have c to the fifth now. We have two c to the fifths. So we got to combine those now. So now we do negative 18 plus 7. That's going to give me negative 11, c to the fifth, c to the fourth. There's nothing to combine it with, so you gotta add it now. 3 c to the fourth. And this is our final answer. Now, you know this is your final answer because if you look at the variables, every single one of them has a different exponent. So that says that there's nothing else that you can combine here. So if we look at the second example now. So let's see. Again, same idea. What we're going to do, you just got to distribute. So a to the fourth. I got to distribute to the first term on the right. So what is that going to give us? A to the fourth times 5, a to the fourth. That is 5. A to the 8. Because there's always an imaginary one there. So 1 times 5, 5. A to the fourth times a to the fourth. You add exponents, becomes an 8. So now you got to distribute that again. Positive times a negative. That's a negative. So we got negative 4. A to the fourth times a to the third. That's a to the 7. Let's rewrite that. That was negative 4, a to the 7. Negative 4, a to the 7. That's better. So now let's distribute that again. A to the fourth times negative a to the second. So now positive times a negative, that's a negative. 1 times 5, that's negative 5. A to the fourth times a to the second, that gives us a to the 6. So we're done distributing the first term. So now we gotta distribute the second term. And that's going to give us 5a to the third times 5a to the fourth. So 5 times 5, that's positive 25. A to the third times a to the fourth, that's a to the 7, because you add the exponents. Distribute that again. 5 times negative 4, that's negative 20. A to the third times a to the third, you add exponents, so that becomes a to the 6. Distribute that again. Positive times a negative, that's a negative. Positive 5 times negative 5, that's negative 25. A to the third times a to the second, that's a to the fifth. So you're done multiplying, you're done distributing. So now your last task, it should be, is there anything that you can combine terms with? So notice that here, we have a to the 8. There's nothing else that has an a to the 8. So we're just going to bring this down. So 5, a to the 8, a to the 7. I notice that there's another a to the 7 here. So now we're going to combine them. Negative 4, a to the 7, plus 25, a to the 7. That's going to give us positive 21, a to the 7. Notice here that we have an a to the 6, we have an a to the 6. You combine them here. Negative 5 minus 20. So now it's going to give us negative 25, a to the 6. Notice here, a to the 5th. There's nothing to combine it with. So we're just going to bring it down. And this is our final answer. So now, here's your entrance ticket. Try to multiply the following expression.